Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Sometimes in life we get thrown into situations where it's pretty much sink or swim, and we haven't had swimming lessons. When I had my first child, I felt like that. Suddenly I had this adorable little baby, a human life that I was responsible to care for and nurture and raise, when I'd never changed a diaper in my life. I'd read lots of books about it, but I totally felt unprepared. I'm sure Hagar, Abraham's servant, felt the same way in Genesis 21. She'd gotten herself in a similar situation before when she ran away and God sent her back. But this time, God had instructed Abraham to send her away. And she found herself with her teenage son in the wilderness, hot, tired, and thirsty. When she ran out of water, she put her son under a shrub and sat a ways away from him, thinking to herself, I don't want to watch my son die. Then it says she lifted up her voice and wept. Ishmael was crying too, and God heard this slave and her son. Remember, the last time in this situation, God saw her. This time, God heard. Again, He sent an angel. Don't you love angels? We can't see them like Hagar seems to be able to, but we know God has angels watching over us. I've even heard people who don't believe in God say things like, I had angels watching over me that night for sure, when they saw something bad in their lives was somehow averted. Many times in the Bible, as here with Hagar, when angels show up, they immediately say, Fear not. Isn't that a comforting phrase? They come directly from God's throne to give this news. Of course, today, we shouldn't need an angel to tell us, Fear not, because we have God's word that tells us plenty of times, do not be afraid, be anxious for nothing, fear not. But sometimes God still brings a friend to us to give us His message, or sometimes He gives us a special Bible verse for a situation or a chance meeting that brings encouragement. For Hagar, the angel said, Fear not, for God has heard the voice of this lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad and hold him with your hand, for I will make him a great nation. This promise sounds pretty familiar. God had just told Abraham this as he agonized over what he was going to do. But it also reiterates the promise God had given Hagar 14 years before. I will make him a great nation, God said. Then God met Hagar's physical needs of water by showing her a well. The story of Hagar and Ishmael ends, but for them, it's just beginning, with God being with them, learning survival skills in the wilderness, and Him getting married. The storyline of the Bible then follows Isaac, because that's where we'll find the Messiah. But that doesn't mean God isn't working in other places, with other people. He's not just God for the Jews. Remember Melchizedek? And there's plenty of others. Today, we can clearly see God's hand working all over the world. He has a plan for each person, each nation. In fact, we can pray for someone on the other side of the world and know that God hears and answers. He's not limited like we are. I'm sure Abraham continued to think about and pray for Ishmael, just like some of you continue to pray for your children and grandchildren who've left home. What are your prayers for them like? Fervent and specific, or general and kind of out of sight, out of mind? Always remember, as Hagar learned here, God hears.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.